Hi, I'm Siobhan Sarna, and I have some really exciting news for you. If you have been suffering from leaky gut, if you have digestive issues, I want you to know about Tributyrin-X. And I have the creator of the formulation with me today. His name is Steve Wright. And so my journey started with, well, when I was 5 and got food poisoning. But a couple of years ago, I was really suffering. I found the right doctors finally. I went on a quest to solve my own IBS and SIBO. I created a platform called SIBO SOS. I've done 6 summits, a documentary on digestion called Digestion SOS, Rescue and Relief for IBS, SIBO, and Leaky Gut. I've written a book that Penguin Books has published called Healing SIBO. And I wanted to share with you some things that have really helped with my situation and with a lot of the people who are on the platform SIBO SOS, which has ultimately come to mean the SOS part, save ourselves. So I love working with practitioners. I think they are essential in helping us with catalytic decisions and the like, but there are a lot of things we can do ourselves, and that includes supplements. Steve is an engineer. He is a gut health educator. He is one of the people who really started health education online before almost anyone else was doing it with his SCD lifestyle platform. If you have ever wondered, like, who really knows about how to heal leaky gut, you're about to meet one of those people. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Siobhan. Thanks for having me.
It's always good to talk to you about these things. I know that you never really started out to create supplements, but I know it's always been in the back of your mind because you weren't finding what you wanted and you saw the gaps. So how did so that's, obviously how Tributyrin-X came to be, but this is something that is not commonly known about. And so I want to have you describe what this molecule actually is.
Yeah, so I mean, research has been focused on butyrates for decades now. They have been used in animal and human trials for decades, and so butyrate is not new to the research field or even the doctor field for that matter. But the focus has always been on which probiotics or prebiotics or foods can we use to increase butyrate, because the supplementation of butyrate was just really, really hard in humans. And it's not because it's like a bad molecule. It's actually, like, I'm calling it the magnesium of the gut, because people are having a really hard time wrapping their heads around how important this molecule is. It's literally used for almost everything in the gut, as well as systemically everywhere. Like almost everywhere they look, every condition they check, is it low? The answer is yes. So butyrate's huge in that regard. But creating a product, the butyric acid stinks terribly and it's very fragile. So it's like the worst bile vomit, or like it's really bad smelling, and it's a very fragile compound. And so the early generation products bonded it to a salt. That's usually in chemistry the fastest way to stabilize something. And then humans are, we're really good with salt and sodium. We need it to live every day. So sodium butyrate was the first generation, and there's like 10 to 20 clinical trials on humans, almost universally all showing like really, really good benefit, 30 to 70% success for things like Crohn's and UC and IBSD and IBSC and all kinds of things like this. So there's asthma trials. So there's a lot of really, really cool data on sodium butyrate, but they always ran into the issue that you're absorbing that in the higher small intestine, because it's a salt. It just goes right across the membrane. And then also you can't really get rid of the smell. And so most of us don't like terribly stinky things. And so even if it's really good for us. And so I have tried sodium butyrates on and off over the years, because I would get a new trial would come out and I'd be like, oh my gosh, this stuff is so cool. I can't wait to try it. Because that's just what I do, no matter what it is. And I would get it, and I've tried many brands, and they just I never noticed anything. And I'd be like, man, I sure have some symptoms here that seem like they might improve if I had more butyrate. Why don't they get better? And so it was just asking that question that I realized there was another molecule called tributyrin, which is a butyric acid bonded with fat. And that it basically creates a pharmacokinetically superior form of it. And it's only been in the last 4 years that researchers have figured out how to make it so that it's protected from the air and the stomach acid, and it doesn't stink. And so that's kind of how Tributyrin-X came to be, and why. I mean, we haven't really gone into it yet, but tributyrin basically is a time-released molecule in and of itself. It needs lipase to break it down. Therefore, rather than getting absorbed right at the beginning of the small intestine, it's able to travel deeper and penetrate deeper, hopefully to the upper large intestine potentially. So between that and the new patent pending capsule technology that I was able to find with the help of an awesome scientist in Spain, Tributyrin-X is a pretty revolutionary product. And it's actually, I love Holozyme. You know, I think that's like my baby, because I worked really hard on that one. Tributyrin-X gets even better reviews, and this one was a total experiment. And I'm really happy that it's working out so well for so many people.
Okay, so yeah, I'm not surprised though. What does it solve, and what can people expect?
So the majority of people who report like really, really high testimonials or really high praise are typically people who are bloated and have pain. So they have inflammation and pain in the stomach. So studies suggest that butyric acid will lower that. They typically have loose stools. It's not that it doesn't help with constipation, it's just more complex. But people who have loose stools, especially who've tried like almost everything, you can find some breakthroughs here. People with leaky gut that just seems to like always end up being leaky again, or like they can't add foods back in because something's going on down there. They're just stuck forever on a FODMAP diet, or a low sulfur diet, or low whatever diet, low histamine diet, low specific carbohydrate diet, whatever it is. They're just perpetually battling food. And then histamine intolerant folks who really struggle with too much histamine release. These people are seeing like breakthroughs that they didn't even know was possible at this point. And in general, I'm talking about hardened people who've tried 10, 20, 30 options here. These people are the ones that are writing in and are sort of our super fans. And the reason why is because, as I was mentioning, butyrate and tributyrin is sort of like the magnesium of the gut. It helps, number one, increase the tight junctions in the gut lining. It increases the mucus layer of the gut lining, increases the microbiome diversity. It increases the release of defensin molecules that help protect the gut wall. It bathes the mast cells in a way that basically lowers their desire to release histamine. It increases T helper cell release in the immune system, which is one of the most important molecules for immune system function and immune balancing. So when we're reacting to everything, the list is like really long. It's like 20 bullet points long.
Well, very, very cool. And no one else has this formulation, right? This is exclusive.
Yeah, we've licensed that out of Spain.
And is there anybody who should not take it?
So people who are highly constipated, they're stuck on laxatives of one or another, need to be very careful. So one of the abilities of Tributyrin-X is to regulate motility. And so it's like an adaptogen for motility. So it can slow things down, but it can speed things up. But the speeding things up part is more complex, is what we found. And so if you take too much of it, the side effect is typically some form of constipation. You just reduce whatever. If you're taking 3 per day, you take 2 per day. If you're taking 4 per day, you take 3 per day. But for those people who are already constipated, even though several research studies show when we measure butyrate in constipated people, it's low. When we check for butyrate species in the gut, they're low. And then when you give butyrate to constipated people, they report less constipation and less pain and inflammation. The finding that ideal dosage is much more complex. And so what I typically tell people is, if you're on that side of the spectrum, go 1 pill every 3 days is what we found, and give it a bottle. And a bottle is at that rate is about 10 to 12 weeks. And so at like week 4, you'll go to every other day. And then at week 8, you'll go to every day. And somewhere between week like 12 and 16 is when we see constipated people have these like big breakthroughs where they're able to reduce other support supplements. Something almost like the environment sort of corrects and shifts in a certain way. I'm still trying to figure it out, just talking with our customers on a regular basis. and trying to find the commonalities there. But that is a common trend we're finding. And that sort of protocol seems to be very helpful for those people who can't seem to shift their constipated gut no matter what they do.
Can you recap that one more time?
So if you have too much of Tributyrin-X, you will feel sluggish and
Right.
you might have some constipation for a day or so. You just reduce one pill down. If you're already really, really sluggish and constipated, you're going to never, ever open the capsule. Number one, don't ever open the capsule. You will smell the smell I talked about. You will take a pill every 3 days, and then we can you just email us at support at Healthy Gut. We have health coaches on the team. We have I'm there helping people. We can help you with a basically a very slow monthly ramp up in dosage. And there is hope because we've seen, not everyone, and I don't even know what the percentage is yet, but a significant portion of people have some big major shift around week 12 to week 16.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to just hone in on for a second. Week 12 to week 16. So we're talking about 3 to 4 months. Now, the vast majority of the people are going to see something more quickly. And this is for those people who have chronic constipation. You know the torture that is in your life. So give it the 3 to 4 months. I mean, what if, right? Like, and that's going to be the sweet spot. So mark it on your calendar, you know, and then count backwards. So whatever it is right now, what if life was totally different with your constipation in 4 months from something that you didn't need to get a prescription for, that, you know, was readily available, although he does have, you know, go out of stock sometimes. So make sure you're getting what you want when you need it. And I like to have a couple of bottles as a backup because I finally find something that works, and then I don't have it. I run out, and then you want to talk about anxiety. There you go. That's it. I just probably spoke to so many of us. When we finally have something that works, make sure you have some extra bottles of it, because I hate to like make progress and then I have to have a break because the mail didn't come, or it's a, you know, delivery time, and you're like, I finally got in the habit. That's such a drag. Anyway, Steve, carry on with all of your great work. I know that this is a message of hope for so many people. It has really helped me. I know it's helped so many people in our Facebook group, as well as all those great reviews on your site. So carry on and keep up the great effort, and inch by inch is a cinch, everybody. So don't give up and hang in there. Thank you.
Thanks, Siobhan.